Good evening. Very good. Thank you. Right, quite a few things to get through tonight. I'll start off with the athletic activities at the national and international level. So, Sports City Manchester hosted the latest round of the BMC Grand Prix events, and there was a write-up on club member Angus Harrington, who, in fact, this is what was written by BMC on their website. Angus Harrington appears to have enjoyed two breakthrough moments this season. The 20-year-old Cambridge University student who competes for Blackheath and Bromley opened the season with his first Grand Prix win in the 800-metre B race at the Birmingham University meeting. That earned him promotion to the A race on Saturday, and Harrington fully justified that with another impressive win in a personal best of 1 minute 48.58. So I think congratulations to young Angus. We had in Oregon the Diamond League, having moved from Birmingham, where Dina ran pretty well in the 100 metres. Dina was over there in Oregon. She had much stiffer competition over there, but she did manage to dip under 11 seconds with a 10.98, although that was only good enough for fourth. But I think with Dina, I think we all know she's very good at peaking at the right time, and she knows when she wants to peak, and I would imagine she's working towards that. There's quite a bit of other action in the US. I suggest you look at the press release on the website if you want to learn about that. Back closer to home, we had the second YDL match for the upper age group. That's the under-17s and under-20s last weekend, and this took place at the stadium that's used by Saracens Rugby Club, which introduced a few complications to the meeting, as some of the stands seem to now cross the track. So, for instance, all the throwing events were relegated to a field behind the stand, so you couldn't see them. The high jump had to be held indoors, and the other jumps were generally screened from view. You couldn't see. The steeplechase approach was impeded by the water jump was impeded by one of the temporary stands they'd got there. So it was all a bit of a make do and mend sort of thing. And it wasn't very good for atmosphere because you couldn't see very much. You couldn't see the whole track easily. The other thing that made it quite a challenging meeting was at this time of year, when you've got under-17s and under-20s, a lot of them are very involved with exams at school, and so it's quite difficult to get a team out. Our ladies team, for instance, didn't have a competitor in 14 of the 60 events they could have had it in. Having said that, it was a resounding success. We won both the men's, the women's, and the overall race convincingly. I mean, we haven't had the final results, but we were 150 points clear of Windsor, so that was good. Some highlights. First of all, with the ladies, so we had a battling win for Tallulah in the 300-metre hurdles, personal bests for both Gypsy and Sapphire in the hammer, a winning double in the long jump, under-17 long jump with Daisy and Indiana, and a convincing under-20 1500-metre win in a season's best for Hannah. We had a clean sweep in the shot put. Cleo had a personal best, and Peanut in the under-20s, and Sienna in the under-17s, and a double win in the under-20 400 metres with Zach and Libby. A repetition of their Eton wins by Jodie and Sienna in the 800-metre hurdles, and two winners and two runners-up in the 800 with Hannah, Lily, Gabby and Emily. And the grand finale, we had on the ladies' side, we had a clean sweep in the relays, both the 4x1s in both age groups, under 17 and under 20, and the 4x3 and 4x4 in the respective longer runs. So well done, the girls. The boys, they had some highlights there as well. Charles Naughty won the 100 metres in a personal best of 10.88, pretty good. We had a personal best in the 200 metres from Bailey Mark Ballon to win that, 23.74. We had two sub 2 minute performances from Matt Smith and Thomas Sugden in the A and B string 800 metres. And Ted Marston took on the steeplechase in a very challenging conditions, as I mentioned that earlier, to secure more points. What is obvious is a lot of these youngsters, they help out in the events, they do events they're not used to, and I'm going to mention some of those. Jacob Byfield returned from injury and got some solid points in both the long jump and the triple jump, I think, didn't it? Yeah. Barnaby Corrie won the pole vault, the high jump and the B-string long jump, so he's doing well. Dylan Claydon and Bryden Duncan combined together. They won the A and B string shot and discus, and Bryden also was second place in the hammer. And Ben Platt earned maximum points in the javelin and the B string pole vault, so good for him. In the under 17s men, Marley Byfield ran a PB, I believe, is that right, in the 100 and 200, both races, yeah. Sam Mower comfortably won the 200A race with a personal best. Sam Mower and Nathan Furler both ran very solid performance. I think we nearly had a 1-2, that was in the 400 metres, under 17s 400 metres. The 1500 saw Arthur Stavis run a third consecutive PB, and there was a welcome return from injury for Alex Middleton to win the B-string race. So then we had Felix McArdle-Hodge and Max Kennedy doubled up with dominant wins in the javelin, winning both A and B-string competitions, and Max also represented us in the discus and the shot put. So talking about some of the people who may not have won but helped towards the team performance, James Barnes and Lewis Brook put in commendable performances in the 3,000 metres. Henry Fage and Johnny Ellerton had close to PBs in the 400 metre hurdles. Oscar Whitcomb, a little just short of his personal best on the pole vault, but he came second on countback, and again demonstrating his willingness to helped out as a substitute in the 4x100 relay squad. So good for him. In the relays, the men, again, they won the 4x400, and they were both in the 4x100. They were picked into second place. But basically, we're in a pretty good space as far as the YDL is concerned. Halfway through the season, we're top of the table, and let's hope we can keep that up. So moving from the track onto park. Moving from the track onto the park run, we had 43 runners at 23 different locations. Furthest away, as far as I can see, was Bertie Harrington, who ran at Town Moor, which is Newcastle, I believe. Only just a little bit further away than Ian Taylor, who ran at a park run called Siltsworth, which is in Sunderland area. We had two first places, Micah Evans at Bromley and Darren Cornai at Bexley, and we had a second with Steve Howe at Morling. It was good to see, I was at Bromley, and it was really good to see Pete Lovell running his first park run since he had his pacemaker fitted, which was only about 10 days before, I think. So he took it gently and sensibly, but it was, eh? Yeah. No, I think he had to be careful the wire didn't come out, but there we are. Of course, this weekend coming, we've got the Queen's Jubilee weekend, and I'm sure we all send our congratulations to Her Majesty. Dick, you might like to tell her when you see her over the weekend. I'm not joking. But it's Friday, okay. But it might be worth reflecting. For the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 1977, the club organised a baton relay from the clubhouse to Buckingham Palace with a scroll of congratulations that were delivered to the Queen. And a number of the members of the team of that relay are sitting in here tonight. So there's Mike Peel, Steve was in it, and other people that you all know, Tim Souter, Chris Haynes, John Baldwin, Andy Frankish, Mike Mahoney, Roy Savoury, some of you may remember, Mike Winch, who was an international thrower, Eddie Haynes, and three members who are no longer with us, Bob Taylor, Graham Botley, and Ian Wilson. So I'd just like to read a little extract from the Gazette of the summer of 1977. It says, Friday the 17th of June saw one of the highlights of Blackheath Harriers' 108 years history, when as a forerunner to Sunday's nationwide celebrations, the club were granted permission to deliver a message of goodwill to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace. Incumbent President Bob Taylor presented the club scroll to Gary Botley at the clubhouse, who then took the message to Bromley Town Hall on its first leg to Buckingham Palace. There they were greeted by Councillor Bernard Davis, the Mayor, and a battery of journalists. The second leg runners, Steve Clooney and Chris Haynes, set off, and in true Harriers tradition, managed to overtake the mayor's car through the congested Bromley High Street.
Was it traffic jam?
Yeah. So despite persistent rain during the early stages of the relay, the enthusiasm of the runners was undaunted as they and the cars of supporters, plus Gary Botley's minibus, threaded their way through the rush hour traffic through Catford, Lewisham and up to Blackheath. Here, the combined efforts of the runners pushed a broken down lorry out of the roadway, just for good measure, and then on to London via the Green Man, our former headquarters, through New Cross, into the city of London via London Bridge and past such famous city landmarks as the Bank of England, Mansion House, St Paul's and up to Fleet Street, up Fleet Street to Trafalgar Square via the Strand. So to facilitate an easy run, the runners began their journey at 4:20 with a planned arrival time for Buckingham Palace of 6:30. But once again, the Harriers tradition prevailed and the runners on each leg gradually stretched their legs until Admiralty Arch was passed some 10 minutes ahead of schedule. This necessitated a diversion via Horse Guards Parade, the Houses of Parliament and Whitehall. As the relay approached London, the rain abated and Mike Winch, the international, and President Bob Taylor, as anchormen, received the message and ran along the Mall. The rain had cleared. The pair, on arrival, were shown through the front gate and into Buckingham Palace via the Privy Purse door for the presentation of the loyal greetings. And following the presentation, the relay runners were all ushered into Buckingham Palace to sign the visitors' book in recognition of the presentation. So a great event. I don't know whether Mike or Steve have got any memories they want to add to that.
It certainly did rain at times. I do remember.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, we've been a little lax in trying to do anything for the Jubilee, but it may well be we can recreate something later on in the year. So we'll let you know about that. So that's the Jubilee. Tonight's the night when we announced there would be the London Marathon draw. Nick Barber, who coordinates that, is very kindly come along. We asked people who were unsuccessful in the ballot to let us know and they can be entered into a draw. And so far, none have come forward. So first question is there anybody here who got rejected by the ballot who would like to go into the draw for the London Marathon this year? Signing silence. Okay. Hey? Have you got a rejection slip?
Yeah, I can find you an email,
Yeah? Yeah?
So, shall I say that I'll wait over when your table, Mr. President, for a few minutes after your address.
Right.
If Paul is the only guy, it's your place. If anyone else comes and sees us, we'll do a draw. But it sounds like we've got a winner at the moment.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Okay, you've got to run though. You've got to run though. There's no ducking out, right? Okay.
Suspense for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's right, just to make it exciting. And have you paid your subs? That's the other condition. Right then, okay, so that's hopefully resolved that. It's a little disappointing. Perhaps that means everybody else got in, I don't know, or they're running charity
It
places.
could be we're also, well, we're also good at it that we get a good for age or...
Yeah, that's true. You get automatic entries. Optimist. Right, Terry, bonus pool.
Bonus one. Unfortunately, the person isn't in. Here it's Peter Rogers. So,
Oh, Pete Rogers, okay.
but I've still got 20 spaces. I have
Okay.
a few people,
So Terry will
but,
be
20 spaces.
raiding you as you try to leave tonight. Thanks, Terry. Okay. Upcoming events this weekend. Sunday, we've got the National Athletics League at Kingsmead. Sunday's the Kent Young Athletics League at Tunbridge. Looking a little further down the road, we've got the Midsummer 10K from Norman Park on Wednesday the 23rd. Other thing to note, the latest edition of the Courier is available for download on the website, and that's a very good read. Well done to Pat Cownan for getting that out. It's England Athletics National Volunteer Week starting today, and I do harp on a little bit about volunteers. Now, a lot of people who are sitting here tonight do volunteer in various roles for the club, and of course we're extremely grateful for that. But it is an opportunity for people to thinking about a way in which they might be able to help, either, team management, administration, officiating. If you're interested at all, just to find out a bit more about it, talk to somebody who does it, or come and see me. Right, any other news? Anybody got any Other news? That's it? Okay, all done for another week. Thank you. Good evening.